The billionaire's voice echoed across the luxury hotel lobby. Security! Get this man and his daughter out of my hotel. I won't let beggars ruin tonight's event. Every conversation stopped. Dozens of wealthy guests turned to watch as 8-year-old Lily gripped her father's hand tighter, her small eyes filling with tears. Dad, did we do something wrong? Daniel Carter looked down at his daughter and forced a gentle smile. No, sweetheart. We did nothing wrong. The billionaire laughed loudly. You brought your child here hoping someone would feel sorry for you? Pathetic. Several guests smirked. Others quietly pulled out their phones to record the humiliation. Lily lowered her head, trying to hide behind her father. Daniel never raised his voice. He simply reached into his jacket and removed a plain white invitation. I believe your office invited me. The billionaire glanced at it for less than a second before tearing it in half. I don't care who invited you. You're leaving. At that exact moment, a luxury smartphone resting on the reception desk began to ring. The billionaire casually looked toward the glowing screen, and his confident smile disappeared. The phone kept ringing. The billionaire frowned as he picked it up from the reception desk. The moment he looked at the caller ID, the arrogance on his face vanished. He quickly rejected the call without answering and forced a smile. Throw them out, he barked at the security guards. 2 guards stepped toward Daniel. Before they could touch him, the phone rang again. The same number. This time every executive standing nearby noticed the billionaire's trembling hand. Sir, aren't you going to answer it? One of them asked quietly. Victor clenched his jaw and finally accepted the call. Yes, this is Victor. The voice on the other end spoke for only a few seconds. Victor's confident expression collapsed. What? No, there must be some mistake. Silence. He slowly turned his head toward Daniel. For the first time, he actually looked at the man instead of his old clothes. Daniel stood calmly with one hand on Lily's shoulder. Then Victor whispered something almost no one could hear. You're already here? Before Daniel could reply, the revolving doors opened. 5 black SUVs pulled up outside the hotel, and a group of sharply dressed executives walked in, heading straight toward Daniel. The hotel lobby became completely silent. The executives ignored Victor and walked straight past him. Their leader, an elderly gentleman in a navy suit, stopped in front of Daniel and smiled warmly. Mr. Carter, we're so sorry you had to experience this. Without saying another word, he extended his hand. Daniel shook it. Every guest froze. Victor stared in disbelief. What is this? The elderly man turned slowly. Victor, do you have any idea who you're talking to? Victor forced an awkward laugh. Just some man who walked in wearing cheap clothes. The chairman's expression hardened. No, you're looking at the man who saved this company 15 years ago. The room fell silent again. Lily looked up at her father. Dad, you never told me. Daniel smiled gently. There was never a reason to. Victor's face turned pale. The chairman continued. When this company was weeks away from bankruptcy, everyone walked away, except one man. Daniel Carter invested everything he had and refused to put his name on the documents. He said the company should succeed on its own. Victor's breathing became heavier. I never knew. The chairman looked him straight in the eyes. That's because the man you just humiliated never wanted anyone to know. Victor felt the eyes of every guest fixed on him. He cleared his throat and forced a smile. If there has been a misunderstanding, I'm willing to apologize. Daniel calmly shook his head. This isn't about an apology. The chairman stepped forward. It never was. He pulled a sealed folder from his briefcase and handed it to Victor. Open it. Victor's hands trembled as he read the first page. His face lost all color. No, this can't be real. The chairman looked around the lobby. 3 months ago, Mr. Carter quietly purchased the controlling shares of Ashford International through a private investment group. The transaction was completed yesterday. Gasps echoed across the room. Victor looked up in disbelief. You mean? Yes, the chairman interrupted. The man you call the beggar is now the majority owner of this company. Lily squeezed her father's hand. Dad, does that mean? Daniel smiled softly. It means kindness is always worth more than appearances. Victor lowered his head, knowing the power he had enjoyed for years had disappeared in a single moment. Victor's voice shook. There has to be another way. We can fix this. Daniel looked at him for a long moment before speaking. I came here today for one reason, to teach my daughter a lesson. Lily looked up at her father. What lesson? Daniel knelt beside her. Never measure a person's worth by their clothes, their car, or their job. Measure them by their character. The lobby remained silent. Several guests lowered their eyes in embarrassment. Daniel stood again. 15 years ago, I promised myself that if I ever returned, I wouldn't come for revenge. I'd come to see whether this company still respected people. He slowly turned toward Victor. You failed that test in less than 2 minutes. The chairman nodded. The board reached the same conclusion. He looked at the other directors. All those in favor of removing Victor Ashford as CEO, effective immediately? One by one, every hand in the room went up. Victor stared around the boardroom in disbelief. Not a single director voted to keep him. Victor slowly removed the CEO badge from his suit and placed it on the conference table. The room was so quiet that the sound echoed through the lobby. He looked at Daniel with regret. I spent years building my reputation, and destroyed it in 5 minutes. Daniel didn't celebrate. I didn't come here to take your place. The chairman smiled. We know. That's exactly why you deserve it. He handed Daniel another document. The board has unanimously voted to appoint you as executive chairman until a new CEO is selected. Daniel glanced at the paper, then closed the folder. I'll accept only on one condition. The directors looked at each other. From today, no applicant, employee, or guest will ever be judged by their appearance, clothes, or wealth. Every person who walks through these doors will be treated with dignity. Without hesitation, every board member stood and applauded. Lily looked around the room with proud eyes. Dad, you really changed everything. Daniel smiled. No, sweetheart. Respect changed everything. The applause continued for nearly a minute. Employees who had been afraid to speak finally stepped forward. An elderly janitor removed his cap and looked at Daniel with watery eyes. Sir, I've worked here for 23 years. Today is the first time I've seen someone stand up for people like us. Daniel shook the man's hand without hesitation. No one is people like us. We're all people. The chairman smiled. This is exactly why the board trusted you. Victor quietly picked up the small box holding his personal belongings. As he walked toward the exit, he stopped beside Lily. I'm sorry for what I said. Lily looked at her father. Daniel nodded gently. She smiled. I forgive you, but I hope you'll never make another child feel that way. Victor lowered his head. You have my word. For the first time in years, he walked out of the building without security, without assistance, and without power. Everyone watched in complete silence as the glass doors slowly closed behind him. Daniel looked at Lily and smiled. Ready to go home? She nodded, then wrapped her arms around him. I'm proud you're my dad. Those simple words meant more to Daniel than every business deal he had ever signed. As they walked toward the exit, the chairman stopped them one last time. Mr. Carter, there's one more thing. He handed Daniel a small envelope. Inside was the original invitation, carefully restored, along with a handwritten note. A company can recover from financial loss, but it cannot survive without character. Welcome home. Daniel folded the note and slipped it into his pocket. He didn't need revenge. He didn't need applause. He only wanted Lily to remember one lesson for the rest of her life. As they stepped outside, reporters rushed forward, cameras flashing. "Mr. Carter! What's your first decision as executive chairman?" Daniel smiled and answered with a single sentence. "We're not changing a company today, we're changing the way people are treated." Lily proudly held her father's hand as they walked into the sunlight, leaving behind a building that would never judge a person by their clothes again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more inspiring stories.